Hey everybody, it's Angela Molson352 back with another process video. This one is going to be of my husband. He and I were walking the edge of the field with shovels, cutting the thistles back whenever we saw a thistle so they wouldn't go to seed. And at one point the grass was taller than we were. It kind of looks like wild oats or something, but I snapped that picture of him, and I knew I had this chipboard piece that I got from Saw Crafters, and I knew I wanted to use it, you know, with all the grass and stuff to kind of echo that. And so I'm just kind of punching it out. She leaves it attached in the cardboard for shipping so that it doesn't bend or break any of the little kind of tiny pieces there. And so I just clean that up, and then I'm looking at the offcut piece thinking, maybe I could use that as a mask or something. And I know at first I wasn't going to do any spraying. I was just going to use that kind of watercolor paper by itself, but then I thought, well, maybe a mask would be good. And so I go ahead and I get out some sprays. And I'm still trying to figure out how I would position that. So I cut it in half because it's not quite 12 inches wide to go all the way across. So I decide to cut it into two pieces and put it on two different spots on the layout. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to go yet. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. I'm just kind of fiddling around. Don't know whether I want my picture straight or at an angle. So I just set it all aside and think, yeah, maybe I'll try spraying that. And just to give the hint of grass in the background. And so I get my spray box out. And I actually don't wind up using this, although I like how it turns out. With the photo and stuff, it just seemed a little bit too busy. So I plan on using this background piece for another layout here later, because I like the way it looks. It just didn't work with this photo. And so I just spray that, and then I do another little bit of spraying, and I just kind of like it, just that little hint of a silhouette in the background. And I think that might be the Lemon Lush collection. I'm not sure. It was a piece that came in my Cocoa Daisy kit. Is that Lemon Lush? I think it is. And everything. So I dry it up. But then when I start laying everything back on it, it's just too busy. And then I knew I wanted to color these chipboard pieces. So I spray them with the same, I think it's Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. And so just drying that up. And it does a really good job of covering it and giving a little bit of shine, but it was all just one solid color, and I wanted a little bit of depth, so I wanted to add a few more colors to it just to give it a little more interest and depth. So I pull out just a bunch of different inks in my stash that are green, and so I want to add some low lights in a few places. So I just kind of model that, and you can see there's another one of those bugs. Luckily, the maple bug mating season is almost over, so there shouldn't be as many of them here in the future once the mating season is done. But they're becoming like a regular feature on my videos, and it's not the same bug. I mean, I usually at night I go through and capture all of them upstairs so that they don't crawl on me during the night and stuff. They don't sting, and they're just kind of annoying little guys, but I don't know, they're kind of endearing too, but not that a bug is endearing, but those sort of are. Anyway, back to this. So I'm using a couple of different inks and going on there, putting some highlights, just giving it a little more interest, giving it a little more mottled effect. And I'm just going direct to the piece of chipboard, and I'm really liking how that's looking. And then I take my darkest one and I kind of concentrate more toward the bottom and the under edges of the grass heads just to give it kind of like a little bit of a shadow. And then I put a few more highlights on, and I think I call that done. So I just dry that up and see the little bit of shine it has to it. It's really pretty because that Brilliance ink has a little bit of shimmer to it, and then the mist had a shimmer. So I'm liking that, but once I put my photo and stuff on there, and then with the watercolor background and the spray on top of that background, and then the grasses, and then the grasses in the photo, it was just starting to look a little bit too busy for what I was going for. So I was like, I just didn't like it. So I pulled out this more simple, a little bit more masculine feel to it, and it really makes the picture pop and the grass pop off of there. So I like that. And now I'm still trying to figure out how I want to position it on the page. So I grab another, I tried that one just to see, and I was like, no, that's a Cocoa Daisy exclusive piece of paper. It's really cool, kind of a green bokeh. But I go ahead and map my photo on this two-tone green chevron. And hopefully someone's going to grab that phone. And maybe not. There they did. And so I'm going through to see if I want to add more photos to this that I took from the field, but I decide to just go with this one photo. And then I decide that I kind of like that right there. So I go ahead and tack down my photo. And then I'm thinking that the bottom of that is just a little bit too heavy. So I go ahead and trim that down, just to have a little bit less bulk on the bottom. So I'm liking that. Makes it look a little bit more delicate. And then I pull out my We Are Memory Keepers. I have the Farmers Market cards, and I have the paper pack as well. And I look through that thinking I might use this collection to embellish the layout. So I'm going through, I really love the colors and stuff of this Farmers Market collection. And I kind of liked that one, but I couldn't really find anything else in the cards that I wanted to use, and I needed more small bits to decorate with. So I go and pull out another collection, and it is the this one here, and it's the basic gray, oh, what is it called? Herbs and Honey, that I got quite a bit of that collection. So I decide not to use the We Are Memory Keepers Farmers Market and go with Herbs and Honey instead. So I just pull out this pack, and I kind of cut it, the back of the packaging off, and put it in the sandwich box along with the tidbits, so I kind of know what's in there. And this has got a lot of little pieces and stuff, so that gives me plenty of things to go through. I'm really loving these little die cut packs lately. Probably too much so, because I've just kind of been using them on every layout lately. So it's just kind of been my go-to thing lately. But I think they really add interest, and I love the kind of collage effect that it gives. So I'm just going to go with it for the time being, and I'll probably get onto some kind of new theme or technique here in the future. So I'll just go with it while I'm enjoying it. And so I go through this little book of cut aparts, see if there's some other stuff that I want to use. And I really loved, you know, going thistle hunting and and stuff, because I got to look at all the flowers and the bugs, and I had thrown some flower seed along the edge of the field by the creek, just to help the pollinators, because we do have a lot of garden and produce and stuff out there that needs pollination, and so I like to make sure all the wild pollinators have something. And so I'm going through and finding bits, and I'm going to kind of cascade it from the one chipboard grass piece on the bottom up to the other chipboard grass piece on the top, and kind of make just a little river of embellishments to connect the two. And I'm just taking out all kinds of little pieces and just putting a few pops of red. And I like how they show up kind of behind the grass. So I go ahead and I attach that down. And then I keep moving up towards the other piece, and I just cut the scalloped edge off. That cut apart book has a scalloped edge on it, so a lot of the cards have that nice scallop. And so I put that top quality so it kind of gives some color behind the grass. And then I also put some of the transparency pieces here for some extra pops of color. I use this tab, and I put it up here first, and then I think I move it later because it was just kind of up there by itself, and I didn't really, after I kind of got my river of embellishments, it just seemed too detached. So I went ahead, I'm just filling in, and then there's one of the transparencies. You have to peel the little plastic coating off the top, which protects it. And so I just put that for a pop of color up there, kind of bring that red up higher, and then I go ahead and glue down the grass. And so I'm liking that. Now I just have to kind of connect them and get rid of that awkward space, cover up that edge. And I do have an edge on the bottom piece of grass, but my journaling is going to go along beside that, so I don't mind that that's a blunt edge down there, but I want to kind of cover up that edge right there. So I'm liking that better. And then I want, because I have something on top of the grass on the top, I want to put something on top of the grass down below, just to kind of, kind of intertwine everything together. So now I'm looking through the stickers that came with that collection and just trying to find something else to finish connecting those together. Putting a few more pop dots to lift that above the grass there. And there, I'm really liking that. And like I said, I'm going to journal below the yellow, "You're the cream of the crop" tab there. And there, I removed the tab because it just looked a little bit too much on its own. And then I'm trying to find something to layer on top of the grass down at the bottom. Just going through my stickers and my embellishments. And I'm thinking that I want to put these, since I have the raspberries up at the top, I was thinking of putting the cherries down there at the bottom. I looked at the wood veneers, but I just didn't really think those fit, so there, I put a few stickers on top of the grass at the bottom, so I'm liking that. And then I go, and I think the only other thing I do is the journaling on here, and then I will have a still photo of the layout. Just looking, have a few more bits and pieces. And I think that I pretty much call that done and start my journaling. So that is my finished layout. I really had fun with this. I love the grass. It's just something totally different, you know, in my album. That's why I really love the chipboard pieces, just because it gives just something totally different. And so there is my finished layout. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. And thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.